Welcome back to Compai's Expat channel. We're back in the studio with Manuel. I hope you guys understand what we're doing. We are doing almost a lesson plan, not a college course, but we're telling you all our secrets on what we're doing when we're running our businesses. So today, we're talking about the basics. Check in and check out. I know it sounds easy. Everybody thinks that we show up, you give us our keys, you show us how to turn on the TVs, and we leave. But that's not as important. For me, what I like to do is I always definitely want to meet the client when they arrive. Now, if you're arriving at 3 in the morning, my guard's going to pretend he's me because I still got to go to work the next day. So for me, it's real important to say, hey, welcome to Casa de Compai. Thank you for your business. Let me make sure you're 100% taken care of. And then we'll take care of all the details that go into that. So for me, it's pretty straightforward, but it gets kind of complicated when you have multiple properties like Mr. Manuel does and different locations. How do you handle that?
For example, I have in garden condos, I have 9 units. So the office has my booking system. So they can know exactly when my guests are checking in and checking out. And they handle the cleanings. And for example, if the apartment is closed for 4 days, empty for 4 days, the same day they refresh the apartment. And yes, so when the guest checks in, I have smart locks. So sometimes when I'm not there on time, I can just provide them the code and tell them, look, I'll be there in 30 minutes, but you can just check in. And if I'm in another property that doesn't have smart locks, maybe the cleaning team can help me check them in, or if not, they will have to wait.
Let me ask you a question on them smart locks. I had a device that had the rubber push buttons, and the sun, the salt air, and the humidity just destroyed it. Are they holding up in this environment?
Well, to be honest, the smart locks that I use is like with touch screen, that in case I get like water or something, it just drips out, that the water can't get inside the lock. And the good thing about the smart locks that I have is that you can put certain time. For example, if the guest checks in, and I can put a set of time for that code. For example, if the guest checks in the Sunday and check out Saturday, for example, of next week, that code will be deleted. So the guest can't enter to the apartment. For example, with keys, you don't know. They maybe could make a copy of the keys and they can check the calendar or something. And they can just go into your apartment if it's not a condo that has security,
It's a good point. Casa de Compai, I'm able to set things up different. I can really control who comes in and out of my complex. But we use the garden condos as an example a lot because I was a previous owner there and we both know how the system works. So you have 48 owners because there's 48 individual titles there. You have a possibility of having 48 owners that will do things different. So Manning's front gate is that front door of that condo, where I have the gate on the street. That's my first line of security.
Yeah.
So you do I like the idea of that smart locks, because I had a guy recently where he wanted to throw his keys to his buddy and let his buddies use the condo for 4 days. So you could lock him out.
I can totally.
That's not a bad thing to have, because you have to protect the property. You have to protect, especially in Manny's case. He's responsible for somebody's investment of 80,000 American dollars and up. So and his business is his reputation. So is mine. But I have an asset sitting there, where Manuel, it's how he performs on that condo.
And the thing is, me as a property management company, I have a lot of keys. So once I have the smart lock, just with one key, I can open all the doors. And that's the good thing about it.
So basically, you have one master key for all the smart locks.
Exactly.
I just spent I just spent 800 pesos. Not that 800 pesos is a lot of money, replacing keys.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to do that. Because we have to. I have in key security is one of the biggest issues you have as a property owner. I have one key that opens up one key caddy, the little security box. Then inside there, you got to get another key to get the keys for the interior doors, for the safe key, and I'm the only one that can do that.
Yeah.
So, it's maintaining that level of security, because that's also an integrity issue. Because you don't want people saying, well, who has the spare safe keys? So there's all that little stuff that goes into it.
Or for example, if the guest, let's say he forgets the keys inside the apartment, let's say, I can just from my house open him the door, and I don't have to go from where I am to the apartment, waste time, waste gas to open the apartment. I can just from a single tap from my phone open his door.
All right, let me ask you a question. You have how many properties under management?
Under management now, management and rental management, let's say 52 apartments.
All right. With these 52 apartments, I know
many apartments, villas, and houses.
Properties. 52
yes.
properties. So you got 52 doors that are all controlled under one app.
Well, most of them, let's say 25, are controlled by one app.
And you don't. There's no. You don't find any. Is it easy to keep it organized?
Yes, way easy, because for example, once you have the check-in of the guest, the thing that I do, I tell the guest, you want your 4 last number digits of your phone, or you want a custom code. Once he tells me what code he wants, I just put it in the system and he will be good to go.
I like that. The mere fact that you're not leaving your house at night really helps a lot. Because, traffic is getting worse in Sosua. So the more automated we can get, it's going to be better for our service for the client. One of the issues that I'm having, and I want to see if you're having the same issue, is I always ask my client, okay, what airport are you arriving at and at what time? And I always ask them, please send me a text when you leave the airport. And I say the same thing every time, so you're not waiting on me. Because I don't want to wait on you either. And I've been having multiple guys, dude, you were supposed to be here 2 hours ago. Oh, I'm at this bar having drinks. So I know what I do. My guard will send you the keys. Either, cash at me the money, PayPal me the rent now, please. And my guard will check you in. Because if you don't respect my time, I'm not gonna wait around for you. Are you finding the same thing, or am I just being really unlucky?
For example, me, sometimes I'm not lucky, sometimes I am. All depends the guest, or as John says, some guests just go to a bar, have some drinks, have fun, and we're like that, waiting, So at the end, our experience as a host is not the best with the guests. So for those guests that are looking at this podcast, please be considerate with the hosts, because they also have another thing to do, And if not, they will be pissed of you, and the experience will not be the same.
Yeah, we have a lot of other responsibilities to do as well, especially you. I mean, with all the mine's on one location. But yeah, it's just respect. It's just respect. The other thing is the guys who are landing late at night. Because now I believe we have a flight landing at 2 a.m. in Santiago, and now Puerto Plata as well.
Yeah.
I think one's a Spirit and one's a JetBlue. That causes some confusion on check-in. They said, well, I'm checking in on, let's just say they land at 2 a.m. on the 1st. Well, they say I'm only paying from the 1st, but in reality, you're paying for the night.
Yeah.
So if you want to come in and check in at 2 a.m, you actually need to rent the night before.
Exactly.
or wait until 3 in the afternoon, which is my normal check-in time, even though I never stick to it.
Yeah.
But you have to have some standards,
Yeah.
something to go by.
Yeah.
So I've been having to I don't use the word educate, but I've been having to educate. Listen, you booked the night. So if you want to check in at 3 in the morning, you need to rent the night before. Are you finding the same thing?
Mm-hmm. For example, the thing that I do for those guests that wants to check in at 2 a.m., they have two options. One option is take our taxi service, that our taxi already has the key and he can check in. Or if you, well, at least me, you must pay $30 to $35 to check in at that time. If not, you will have to wait at 9 a.m. and check in. Because look, we're humans. We need to sleep. We have more things to do. So we are not slaves, actually, you know? So in case that you pay the $35, I can just go to the apartment and open you the door. Or if you don't want to pay the $35, you can use our taxi service and he can check in you for free at no extra cost.
Oh, that's a great idea. But I've had so many problems linking Casa de Compai with any other business. I'm nervous about doing that. It's a great idea though. But I've had guys call me at the airport, John, the taxi driver is not here. Then I call the taxi. I'm like, yo, where are you? Oh, I'm having a bad day. Well, so am I now. I'm having a bad day too. Because you just screwed me. Now my client's mad.
Yeah.
So when it comes to doing that, I get nervous on that one. That one.
Well, to be honest, my taxi is like very, very responsible because he knows that if he screw up one time, he's not working with me anymore.
Mhm.
And he will lose a lot of money because we have a lot of guests that are checking in, checking out. So he doesn't want to lose his spot. Because in this business, at least at me, I have way too many people that works on taxi services that want to work with me. But the thing is that I just want to stick with one because I know that he does the job. In case that something happens, sadly, I need to find another taxi person.
And it's not hard finding another one.
Yeah, it's not hard at all.
They're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
And then throw in the Uber come into town, which is a whole another topic. But yeah, those nightly check-ins. And again, my situation is more easier because I have the same guard at night. I have the same guards during the day. So I'm a little bit more easy. I'm more fluid in what I can do. I'm not as confined. And what I do for the clients who are checking in at that time, I send them videos. Hey, this is your safe. This is your Wi-Fi. This it's kind of like we had to do during COVID when we were into COVID. So I just revert back to that. And a lot of the guys who are checking in late at night, they could check themselves in at Casa de Compai. They've been there so many times, which it makes my life easy. And it's nice to see the guests returning.
So, for example, me, I heard a lot of bad experiences of, let's say, well, self-check-in. That, for example, if a guest doesn't want to stay in the apartment, he by himself puts under the sheets dirt and stuff, and then claims through Airbnb that the place is dirty, blah blah blah. So that's why I prefer that my taxi does the check-in, or that me by myself do the check-in. Or as John says, you can just make a video of the place, showing the place is actually clean, like a custom video of telling the name of the guest, at what time you enter, so you can have proof that you entered at that time. But if you have, let's say, a video that you share with all the guests, sometimes that will not work. Sometimes you will be skewed.
I had to go when I used to in my garden when I used to own a property in the garden condos. I had a guy call me and said, "John, the bed's broke. How could you rent to me with a broken bed?" And my answer was, "How do you break a metal frame bed?" what the heck were you doing to break a metal frame bed? So I knew what was going on, and it was exactly what Manny just said. So I said, what I'm going to do, and it was a check-in. I got 2 in the morning, and I said, listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to refund you all your nights, including the night you stayed. You're out zero money. I'm not going to ask you to pay for anything, but you're going to be out of that apartment in 1 hour. And he didn't think I was going to do it. And I was like, dude, no, you can't stay there with a broken bed. I have to get that fixed. I have responsibilities. But but you broke the bed. Or the bed isn't broken, you're lying to me. Either way, you're out in an hour. You got to go.
And John, what do you do for in case that you have a checkout and check-in the same day?
I usually, what helps with the checkouts and checkouts at the same day, because again, everything's right in Casa de Compai. So what that means is I'm showing up usually around 11 in the morning. And then my check-ins are coming in between 1 and 3 is usually the norm.
Yeah.
So all that means is I say goodbye to everybody, get the correct amount of maids on site, get the apartments clean, get lunch, have a beer, come back, wait for everybody to show up, and hope they're not at the bar drinking while I'm waiting for them. But for me, it's easy. Manning, it was tough when I had Casa de Compai and around the corners, the garden condos. I've had numerous times people checking in at the same time. Yeah. It gets hectic. And you utilizing the technology as a younger guy, he's on point with that stuff. This old guy, I'm learning from him. True, I really am. And so that makes sense. It really makes sense.
For example, sometimes I have guests that wants to check out late, and I have a check-in that day. So, for example, sometimes it's very difficult to tell the guests, no, you can't. Or sometimes they obviously understand because we have a check-in that day. But it all depends. The thing that I do, for example, for a late checkout, I just charge them half of the night and I'll just close that day. And then the next day, the clean team at first hour in the morning, they can start cleaning. But sometimes, for example, it's not possible. And the set is, then sometimes the guest thinks that is we as a host that want to just kick them out. But it's not like that.
As a business, you have to have order. You have to have set rules, set standards. I do have rules and regulations for Casa de Compai. I don't throw them out there unless I have to. If I text you the rules and regulations, you're close to being asked to leave with a refund. Just here's your money, you got to go. But since I'm the property owner, I have a lot more flexibility in how I do things. Today I had a client check out. His flight was at 4, so he didn't bugger out until 2. Now, let's say I had somebody renting that condo for tonight. What I would say, I know the maid could get in there, and let's say the guy was arriving at 3, but everybody's arriving between 2 and 3. What I'll do is I'll give my maid enough time to get in there to clean that unit. And usually we're cleaning your apartment once a stay, unless you're staying 3 days or shorter. If you're staying longer than that, more than likely you're going to get your apartment cleaned. And the first thing I'm going to ask my maid is, how dirty was the apartment? And if she says, John, it was really clean, then I know that I can schedule them, give you more time in that unit because of your lifestyle, how you're living. The maid's going to have an easier clean.
Yeah.
So what I do is I get that time frame. Okay, the maid's going to need 3 hours. So I allot 3.5 hours to clean a condo in Casa de Compai. That's the block. Sometimes it takes shorter. Sometimes it may take a little longer. But I'll say, listen, at 11 o'clock, my maid needs to get in that apartment. 10 o'clock's check out. 3 o'clock's check in. So I'll say, what we'll do at 11 o'clock, I always say, listen, normally 10 o'clock's check out, but I want everybody to get the most out of their vacation. And that's the truth. Yeah. So I say, get showered, get ready to go, get packed up. We're going to take your suitcases. We're going to put them in our pump house. which is just nobody goes in the pump house unless it's me or my staff. We're going to put your stuff in the pump house, lock your luggage up, go to the beach, get drinks, do whatever you want to do, get breakfast, come back when it's time for you to go to the airport. So you still get full use of that day. That's how we do it. And because I own the whole complex, I can manipulate the situation where Manning, you can't do that.
Yeah. So, well, in garden condos, for example, I can tell them to leave their luggage in the office, but there's certain time that the office is closed. For example, from 12 to 1 p.m., the office is closed. So if you're going to the airport during that time, it's not possible. But if you're, let's say, going at 1:30 from garden condos to the airport, you can just leave your stuff in the office and you'll be good to go. The office doesn't have any problem, so you can leave your luggage in the office. But obviously, there are some places that I can't handle it. So my answer to the guest is, I'm sorry, I can't help you, because there's some places that I can't just do it, you know?
We do the best we can. We really do. But, there needs to be order. There needs to be order to it. And consistency, you need to be predictable for your clients. When they check in, they want to have that same routine, especially check-ins, check-outs. Because some people get real nervous when it's checkout time. If that taxi's 10 minutes late, they're on the phone to that taxi. You're like, and I get it. I used to be that guy. That was me. But that's how we do it. We appreciate everybody watching our little podcast. We like doing this show. We enjoy it. Again, our goal is to help somebody who wants to get into the real estate market as a landlord, avoid some of the mistakes we made. So please, subscribe, comment. Definitely want to hear your comments. We appreciate everybody who's been commenting. Like and subscribe, please.
And if you have other questions, please just write in the comments below, and John will be there to text you back.
Absolutely. Guys, if we don't see you, have a Merry Christmas.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.